This may be one of the largest money scandals of our time, and the chances are you may very well be a victim. This is the car finance mis-selling scandal. Whenever you enter an agreement with finance companies, you would expect and you would hope, and you are quite right to expect, that it should all be transparent. All of the details should be given to you, every payment should be set out, the interest rates, any commissions and charges and fees should all be clear to you. Otherwise, you'll have no idea what you'll be paying. And worse still, you'll end up paying more than you originally understood or you originally agreed to pay. So, as this applies to car finance, there are different types of car finance, as you may be aware. You may not, with respect, fully understand them, but overall, you may enter one of these finance agreements. And the real key here is if you've been misled in any way, then this might then be unlawful. And that's what this whole scandal is about, and I'll hopefully explain it for you. Now, there's no need to go into the intricacies of each type of finance, but broadly speaking, you might have entered a personal contract purchase, or you might have entered a hire purchase agreement with a company to buy a vehicle. Now, claims in respect of each of these have soared recently, as the Financial Conduct Authority, which is the UK's finance regulator, revealed that there had been widespread, across-the-board, undisclosed commissions and misleading advice that led to countless people paying more than they agreed to pay, and sometimes without them even knowing about it. Now, as I said at the outset, all agreements should be transparent, particularly those that relate to finance. So what about a car finance agreement might make that a mis-sold finance agreement? Well, broadly speaking, if you've been misinformed or they've failed to inform you about certain fees and certain commissions and things like that, that ultimately you end up paying and you were either misled about or you didn't know about, they might deem to be unfair. Now, just to be clear, when we talk about commissions, we're talking about a monetary payment that is made to the broker or to the dealership for arranging the finance on your behalf. Now, whilst you might think that that's okay in most circumstances, what you might not have realized is that this might sometimes lead to a higher interest rate for you as the consumer, which means ultimately you'll be paying very much more money back than you originally understood. What's even worse is that sometimes the interest rates themselves have been unreasonably increased without any clear explanation. This, in turn, has often led to very much higher commissions paid to the brokers and the dealers, and again, sometimes without any explanation to you, without any justification, and sometimes without your knowledge. If you've ever taken out a mortgage or had a conversation about a credit card or a loan on the phone, you'll probably remember conversations about your affordability, how much you can afford to repay. Now, this is another area where car finance has been found to be mis-sold, because finance products have been recommended that were not, in fact, suitable for the customer's needs, often leading to very much higher payments or overpayments and unnecessary financial strain on the consumer and putting them into financial difficulty, often having a knock-on effect on the rest of their life. Perhaps one of the worst examples of the mis-sold car finance agreement is the hidden commission. That's where they've woven in a commission into the agreement, sometimes, as I explained, leading to a higher interest rate and higher payments without your knowledge and without your informed consent. Think of this a little bit like going to a restaurant. You see the menu, you see the prices, you order the food, and yet when they charge your card, they've added a fee without telling you, without explaining it, and you only find out very much later when you're making the payments because they didn't explain it to you and they didn't get your agreement. One of the reasons all of this came to light is that the Financial Conduct Authority intervened in one of the finance models which is now banned as of 2021. This was known as the difference in charges model. That's where the commission would have an impact on the interest rate offered. But along with that, there was a lack of transparency, lack of informed consent, and quite obviously, you might expect that the dealerships and the brokers prioritizing their own financial gains over the best interest of the consumer. And that meant that they were not offering you the best possible product. They were simply offering you the one that would give them the most commissions, which is obviously not in your best interests. And when this has been looked at on a very detailed regulatory level, it has quite rightly been banned. There is some good news, however, because you've probably seen the scrolling website address on screen to claim.co.uk. Because, as you've guessed it, you might well be you some compensation if you've been missold a car finance agreement. As to how much compensation you might receive, that would have to be calculated on an individual basis. But some of the things that might affect how much you receive might be how much overcharged interest there has been, how long your agreement was for, because if it was for a longer period of time, then the inflated interest rates are likely to have a more significant knock-on effect on how much you've paid, and whether or not you've been sold a product which was inappropriate for your particular circumstances. Now, thinking back to what I've said, if you've been sold a product that was simply not suitable for you and there was an alternative that would have been much more suitable, and the one that you did have has put you into financial hardship unnecessarily, that might also have an impact on what compensation you might be eligible for. So if you've taken out a car finance agreement anytime between 2014 and 2020, you can use the free eligibility checker on the website, which is on screen and in the description below at claim.co.uk, to find out whether you have an eligible claim. All of the lawyers on the panel work on a no-win, no-fee basis, meaning you pay nothing up front, and there's more details about that agreement on the website linked in the description below. And of course, it's absolutely free for you to check your eligibility on the website. As you can see from the illustration on screen, there have been thousands of claims against some of the biggest names in the car finance industry. So again, if you've bought a car on finance between 2014 and 2020, check out the eligibility checker linked in the description below on claim.co.uk. And as I say, this could well be one of the largest money scandals of our time. I will be coming back to do more videos on this in more detail, answering some of your questions, which you can leave in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.